Meanwhile, anti-migrant sentiment is on the rise in South Africa. Nearly about 2,000 people demonstrated against what they described as illegal migrant workers in Hillbrow, near Cape Town. The protests are part of an operation called Dudula, which stands for Drive Back in the Zulu language. Now, the movement has recently gained traction in the country plagued by record unemployment, and also poverty has been worsened by COVID. In recent weeks, scores of protesters have been staging demonstrations against undocumented migrants. The protesters turned up in a mob of several hundred at a migrant centre in South Africa's Soweto township. Last weekend, the same movement had held a protest outside of a supermarket. They were demanding the sacking of foreign workers employed there, and these are the people who are extremely angry with foreigners. They are accused of taking their jobs. Competition for jobs has, of course, spawned a lot of resentment amongst predominantly the jobless youth in the country. Unemployment in South Africa is currently at 35% and is rising up to nearly about 65% amongst the youth.
Our space is occupied by illegal foreigners who happen to be selling drugs on the street. Most of all, they are taking a very simple job that should be done by poor South Africans that does not need any skill.
Now, in the past, xenophobic protests have largely culminated into violence. In 2008, attacks against foreigners left at least about 62 people dead, while another 7 were killed in similar such unrest in 2015. In 2019, armed mobs descended onto foreign-owned businesses around the financial hub of Johannesburg. Now, the ensuing clashes left at least about 12 people dead. However, the Dudula movement leaders say that this is a very pacifist kind of a movement. Now, one of the leaders, who's of course leading this operation, has said that he's simply seeking to restore law and order.
Make this long. We are here for an operation, and we are here to prove the whole world and to prove the South African police very wrong. We are not criminals.
Now, according to the police sources, law enforcement is, of course, keeping an eye on these demonstrations. Earlier this week, President Cyril Ramaphosa had said that the authorities were very closely watching pockets of groupings. At the beginning of the month, the government also said that it is working on a law to install some kind of a quota system for foreign workers in South African companies. In a country of almost about 60 million people, there are almost about 3.9 million foreigners, including political refugees. Human Rights Watch has said that foreigners are often made the scapegoats for the internal problems of South Africa, which happens to be one of the world's most unequal societies. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.